Avoid these three approach fails. They scream low value and kill attraction instantly. Now, before we get into this, you have every reason to be skeptical that I have any idea what I'm talking about. I could be one of the million talking heads who says, I'm a dating expert, but never goes out, never approaches women, never gets dates, never gets any results. And that's why I want you to see this quick 30 seconds of infield footage showing myself approaching girls and taking them home.
And now you just have to take my virginity. Hey!
Hi, I'm so happy to see you. You're nice and you are good at conversation.
Okay. Shall we go smoke?
Yeah.
Stash of weed? 10 minutes away?
Definitely.
This way?
Yeah.
Instead of standing here like 8 hours? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm done.
And some Cards Against Humanity.
Yes.
All right, so from approaching thousands of women and having coached hundreds of guys in person, I've seen three very common mistakes that are easy to fix, but that will absolutely tank your results. The first one, because I want to get right into this without a long preamble, the first one is approaching without enough energy. This is huge, especially guys who are in a nerdier kind of field like tech, software engineers. They have this really bad, but most men have this to some degree, where they talk without any enthusiasm. And it's funny, women are really good at this. Like women, even gay men, they talk with a lot of enthusiasm and energy and, get your attention. But guys treat it like business almost. They talk the way they would in a business meeting, a fact exchange. They go up to a girl, hi, nice meeting you. If it's monotone, there's not energy behind it, she's instantly going to be bored. You have to think of it this way. Talking to you should have more value, more emotional value for the girl than not talking to you, than what she was doing before. In the day, it's a little bit easier because, there's not as much competition in terms of other stimulus. But in a club, if you go in soft, you go in kind of weak, no energy, like Jeb Bush, she has no reason to want to keep talking to you. You have less value than the club, than her friends, than the music, than all these other things. So you have to talk with a certain level of passion, of energy, loudness. A lot of times guys are just too quiet. Hi, how's it going? The girl barely even hears you. And if she has to work to listen to you, she has to actually put in energy, lean in, and she just met you, unless she thinks you're exactly her type, then maybe you'll get the chance. But generally, she's going to be like, well, all right, bye. Because it requires her to invest to even give you a chance. You have to offer value right away. Talking to you has to be more interesting, more engaging than not talking to you. So that means speaking with a little bit of gregariousness, of intention, right? Energy. There's some oomph behind what you're saying as opposed to, hi, how's it going? Nice to meet you. And you have to really, one great thing to do, it might sound weird, but record some of your approaches. And you can literally just get a phone, get a shirt with a pocket, and then just put on record. Record 5 to 10 approaches and listen back. And you might think you're speaking with the like a Shakespearean actor level of charisma and emotion and energy, but it's actually inert. It's actually very boring. So do that and you'll become aware of where you're at. And you might find that no wonder girls are rejecting you, because there's no energy, there's no emotion. It's not captivating when you talk. Number 2 is the angle you approach from. Now this one, it sounds obvious when you hear it, but most guys do it wrong. I had a client on a boot camp who would approach girls from behind at night, tap them on the shoulder, and I saw him do 4 or 5 of these. And he came up to me, he's like, yeah, see, every girl rejects me. I have such a low success rate. Only 1 girl wanted to talk out of those 5. Well, it's because you're freaking them out, intimidating them really, right at the approach. You have to understand that we are much stronger and larger than hopefully the women you approach, unless you got some fetish, but we're larger and stronger than women. So imagine if you thought a girl's really hot but she approaches you. She's 6'8", she weighs 280 pounds, and she looks like she could pick you up and throw you. And she taps you from behind, is 2 feet behind you. You're like, whoa. Even if you find her attractive, it's gonna be uncomfortable. So this is a very common mistake, approaching from behind, and there's another one I'll get into a second. But approaching from behind will automatically drastically reduce your success rate on the initial approach. So what you want to do, if you're walking the same direction as a girl, is, and I'll show an example of this, an infield example of what this looks like, but you want to get to her side and imagine coronavirus is a real thing, or it ever was a real thing, that it's something serious. I'm half kidding, but give her about at least 6 feet, so distance enough for the Holy Ghost to exist between you, and then get 30 degrees or so in front of her. So get a little bit of in front of her, look back, wave, and say, hey, get her attention. Then, and if you have to say hey a couple times, that's okay, but get her attention. And then once she looks at you, then go into whatever your opener is going to be.
Hi, I just want to say I like your style.
Thank you.
And the reason you want to do this is several. If you're too close, it's uncomfortable. If you approach from behind, it's uncomfortable. If you touch the girl, you don't even know her, it's uncomfortable. Now, sometimes in a club, that is the best option, but definitely in day game, you never want to start by like touching her, because that's just weird. Now, all those things make it more comfortable, and they make it easier for her to like understand what's happening, right? They just make it a lot smoother. So you want to do those 3 things. That alone will double or even triple your success rate. And for the people who say it's all about looks, think about how this tiny adjustment will drastically increase the amount of women who are receptive to your approach. That wouldn't be the case if it was all about looks. The other one I want to mention is if the girl is walking towards you and you're going for the hard stop, which sometimes the hard stop is the best option because it shows a little more confidence, it's a little bit more dominant. It's also riskier because if the girl doesn't stop, you're kind of starting on a bad note, right? So there's pros and cons, but if a girl's by herself or she's with one other friend, and especially if she's walking slowly, leisurely, she just seems open, then a lot of times it's the best way to approach. But what guys do wrong is if the girl is closer than like 10 feet and walking by and you go for the hard stop, same thing, it just throws them off, it's too jarring, and they're most likely gonna keep walking. So if you're gonna do the hard stop, get their attention when they're about 15 feet in front of you. And you can also do this if the girl walks past you, you can jog past them, get 15 feet in front of them, and then turn around. That works too. Generally, you wanna get their attention when they're far enough to have time to acclimate to what's happening and to think, okay, I'll stop for this guy. Right? It's a lot easier for them to say yes to that than, where'd this guy come from? Nope, gonna keep going. Number 3 is lack of clear intent. Basically, if the girl could think that you might be a they/them, that you might be asexual, if you and her were teleported to a room, nothing might happen. It might just go nowhere. You just talk and chat in the room. If that's the vibe, that's the feeling, then there's a lack of intent, and she's probably just gonna see this as a business-like or friendly interaction. There's no sexual tension. There's 2 very simple ways to make sure this doesn't happen. You don't have to say anything sexual. Obviously, if you can make witty sexual jokes, innuendos, etc., that's great, but you don't even have to. I used to avoid that pretty much always for years, just because I thought it was a bad idea or unnecessarily risky, and I still was able to pull all the time. So it's not something you have to do. However, what you do need is to project some kind of sexual energy in your vibe, or really specifically the way you look at her. And so if you look at a girl and you're thinking, she's hot, I want her, I want to be with her, you know, I would say it in another way, but I don't want the video to get less views for cussing. And you think that and you let yourself actually feel the emotion that goes with that, then there's going to be some level of sexual tension. If she's not interested, she might pull away, but then you know that she's not interested and you're not going to waste time. So that's good anyway. But it's the way you look at her, looking deep into her eyes, like not being in your head, not thinking, like actually being there and taking it in, being present with that energy. There's naturally so much sexual tension just with eye contact, but most guys, they're uncomfortable with it, and they're not present. They're not actually focusing on what's happening. They're thinking of the next steps. They're thinking of what should I say? They're thinking I'm going to get rejected. And that all gets in the way of the natural sexual energy that would have been there if you just focused on the eye contact, on being present. So that's one way. The other is just to state your intentions directly. You know, the first year that I started going out to approach women, I was using the mystery method, which there's pros and cons to it. It does have some good stuff in it. But the con is because I was shy and I was socially anxious, I was diagnosed with panic disorder and social anxiety. So, by the way, if I can get over that, you can too. If I can approach women successfully with that, literally thinking I'm having a heart attack when I first started going out to approach women and going to the ER, right? That's actually happened. Then you can definitely overcome your approach anxiety too. That's besides the point. What would happen is I would go indirect with the mystery method as a shield to protect my ego. So I would never tell a girl I thought she was attractive. I would not lean in for the kiss. I would not make my intentions clear. And girl after girl would just eventually reject me. Even if they initially liked me, they just feel like this guy doesn't fuck, right? This guy, he either doesn't like me or he's a pussy. Either one, not ideal, right? So that's what happened again and again and again. And if I had hired a coach who watched me and saw how lame my interactions were, how lacking intent they were, he would have made me start doing direct approaches. Just telling girls, hey, I think you're really cute. And I would have regretted it if I didn't say something. It can be as simple as that. That's a very basic but effective opener. And what it does is now that she knows you're hitting on her. And then you don't have to play this game in your mind of, does she know I'm hitting on her? Would it be inappropriate? Would she be like freaked out and disappointed if I got physical or if I like invited her home or I went for the kiss? Like, would that be jarring? That's much less of a problem if you start by going direct. You're giving yourself permission to make the whole interaction more man to woman, more flirtatious, as opposed to friend to friend. So it makes the whole thing easier. Plus, you'll see a lot of girls actually respond very positively. They light up right away, especially Latinas. But girls will often respond very well, and you won't waste time nearly as often with girls who are just not interested or who have a boyfriend or whatever, because they'll usually tell you right away. So if you're new to approaching women, going direct will help you get over that ego, that anxiety, that resistance that most men have for social conditioning reasons about being direct and making their intentions clear. You'll get over that much faster, and your interactions will have more sexual energy to them. So that's the 3 approach mistakes that just absolutely destroy your results. If you fix those 3 things, don't be surprised if your success rate with approaching women triples, maybe even quadruples, just from those 3 simple adjustments. So if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling like approaching isn't working, but you're doing some of those things, the problem might not be something inherent about you or about how modern women are, red pill garbage. It's not because of how shallow women are or whatever. It's because you're making these fundamental mistakes that sadly no one told you about. The red pill channels don't mention, or the dating coach watered down channels that tell you to buy a watch or their cologne didn't mention. So try this out and you'll be surprised at how much better your interactions go. And if you're in that beginner phase where you're not really getting results in terms of cold approach, and you want to start consistently getting numbers, getting dates, getting wins, then click the link below to join my completely free school community, where you'll not only be surrounded by other men who are pulling each other towards success. We are all the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And when it comes to dating, most guys, sadly today, are crabs in a bucket. They're pulling each other down. They're making excuses. They're settling for girls they're not even attracted to because they're in deep scarcity. But in this group, you'll be surrounded by men who are taking control of their dating results, who are leveling up instead of making excuses. And if you want wingmen in real life to go out and approach women with, there's actually a feature where you can see the other guys that are in your city, send them a message, and find wings as well. And that's all completely free. And on top of that, you can actually get my book, The Turning Point, 10x Your Dating in 30 Days, free as well as soon as you join. So just click the link below to join the Skool community. I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like because the algorithm has recently changed to value likes as well as comments a lot more. So you can just comment for the algorithm. Any comment is appreciated. I'll see you in the next one.